Welcome back to our spine-chilling series exploring the haunted corners of the Pacific Northwest, where rugged coastlines and towering lighthouses serve as both guides for sailors and gateways to the supernatural. In this sixth episode of Most Haunted Lighthouses in Oregon, we delve deeper into the eerie tales that shroud these iconic beacons, uncovering stories steeped in tragedy, isolation, and unrelenting despair. From the jagged cliffs of Cape Blanco to the fog-drenched shores of Yaquina Head, Oregon's lighthouses are more than just navigational aids. They are silent witnesses to events that defy explanation. Lighthouses have long been symbols of hope and safety, guiding mariners through treacherous waters with their steady beams of light. Yet beneath their glowing exteriors lie darker narratives, tales of shipwrecks, suicides, and spectral encounters that blur the line between the living and the dead. These structures, often perched on remote and desolate landscapes, harbor an atmosphere of solitude that amplifies every creak of the floorboards, every whisper of the wind, and every shadow cast by flickering lanterns. For those brave enough to explore their haunted halls, these lighthouses offer a glimpse into a world where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. In this episode, we'll journey to some of Oregon's most infamous haunted lighthouses, places where ghostly apparitions roam freely, disembodied voices echo through empty rooms, and inexplicable phenomena challenge our understanding of reality. We'll hear first-hand accounts from keepers and visitors who've dared to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. Along the way, we'll discover how the unique architecture and isolated locations of these lighthouses contribute to their reputation as hotspots for supernatural activity. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of Oregon's lighthouses, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie not in the vast expanse of the sea but within the walls of the structures meant to protect us from it. And once you cross the threshold of these haunted towers, there's no turning back. Cape Blanco Lighthouse, a beacon of despair perched atop the rugged cliffs of Oregon's southern coastline, Cape Blanco Lighthouse stands as one of the state's oldest and most storied sentinels of the sea. Built in 1870, its gleaming white tower has guided countless ships through the perilous waters of the Pacific Ocean, earning its place as a vital landmark in maritime history. Yet, beyond its role as a navigational aid, Cape Blanco harbors a darker legacy, a tapestry woven with tales of tragedy, betrayal, and restless spirits that refuse to leave the confines of its weathered walls. One of the most enduring legends tied to Cape Blanco revolves around James Langlois, the lighthouse's first keeper, whose tenure was marked by personal loss and hardship. Appointed in 1870, Langlois dedicated nearly 3 decades to maintaining the beacon, braving the harsh coastal elements and the isolation that came with his duties. However, his devotion to the lighthouse was overshadowed by the untimely death of his wife, Mary, who succumbed to illness shortly after moving to the remote station. Visitors to the lighthouse report seeing a figure resembling Langlois pacing anxiously near the lantern room, his silhouette illuminated by the soft glow of the light. Others claim to hear faint whispers echoing through the halls, believed to be Langlois lamenting the loss of his beloved Mary. Another prominent figure in the lighthouse's haunted lore is believed to be Sarah Ortega, a young woman who lived at Cape Blanco during the early 20th century. According to local accounts, Sarah fell victim to a forbidden romance with a sailor whose ship docked nearby. When her family discovered their relationship, they forbade her from seeing him again. Heartbroken and desperate, Sarah took her own life by leaping from the cliffs surrounding the lighthouse. Her spirit is said to linger in the keeper's quarters, manifesting as a cold breeze accompanied by the scent of salt water. Guests staying overnight in the lighthouse frequently report hearing soft sobbing emanating from empty rooms, only to find no one present upon investigation. Adding to the site's spectral reputation is the tragic fate of several assistant keepers who served at Cape Blanco over the years. Historical records indicate that multiple men stationed at the lighthouse met untimely ends due to accidents or illnesses exacerbated by the harsh environment. One such incident involved an unnamed keeper who slipped and fell while repairing the lantern mechanism, plummeting to his death on the rocks below. Paranormal investigators exploring the site have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of male entities whispering phrases like, "Help me," and "I can't move." Witnesses described seeing shadowy figures clinging to the railing of the observation deck, their forms dissolving into mist when approached. The basement of Cape Blanco, though rarely accessed by modern visitors, has gained a reputation for paranormal activity among those familiar with its history. Employees tasked with maintaining the area describe hearing chains rattling and heavy footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Some claim to see tools moving inexplicably, as if being manipulated by unseen hands. A particularly chilling account comes from a maintenance worker who swore he felt cold metal cuffs snap around his wrists, pulling him backward toward the darkness before releasing him abruptly. Overnight visitors to Cape Blanco frequently recount bizarre experiences that defy logical explanation. Lights flicker unpredictably, especially in hallways leading to the older sections of the building. Doors slam shut on their own, and the scent of cigar smoke wafts through the air despite the lighthouse's strict no-smoking policy. One guest described waking up to find his reflection in the mirror staring back at him, but not quite matching his movements, as if another entity stood behind him, mimicking his actions. Another recounted seeing a man in a dusty keeper's uniform standing at the foot of her bed, his hollow eyes boring into hers before vanishing without a sound. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Cape Blanco remains a popular destination for tourists and history enthusiasts alike. Its rich tapestry of human drama, interwoven with tragedy and loss, creates an atmosphere unlike any other. For those brave enough to book a stay, the possibility of encountering James Langlois, Sarah Ortega, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor crosses its threshold, they must decide whether they are ready to face the darkness that lingers within these walls, or will they become another chapter in the lighthouse's tragic tale. Heceta Head Lighthouse, whispers beneath the waves nestled along Oregon's central coast. Heceta Head Lighthouse stands as a majestic sentinel overlooking the tumultuous waters of the Pacific Ocean. Built in 1894, its striking red and white structure has earned it recognition as one of the most photographed lighthouses in the United States. But behind its picturesque facade lies a haunting legacy steeped in sorrow, mystery, and spectral encounters that continue to captivate visitors to this day. Often referred to as the most haunted lighthouse in America, Heceta Head is home to a myriad of ghostly legends, each more chilling than the last. One of the most famous spirits said to haunt Heceta Head is known affectionately as Rue. Described as a maternal figure clad in Victorian-era clothing, Rue is believed to have been the wife of one of the original lighthouse keepers. Local lore suggests she passed away under mysterious circumstances, leaving her spirit bound to the keeper's house adjacent to the lighthouse. Visitors frequently report feeling a comforting yet unsettling presence, as though someone is watching over them. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Blankets are neatly folded and placed at the foot of beds, and dishes are cleaned and stacked without explanation. Some claim to see Rue gliding silently through the halls, her ethereal form illuminated by the soft glow of candlelight. Another prominent figure in the lighthouse's haunted lore is believed to be a former sailor who died tragically in the nearby waters. According to maritime records, his body washed ashore near Heceta Head, and his spirit is said to linger in the lantern room, drawn to the beacon that might have saved him had it been visible the night of his demise. Paranormal investigators exploring the site have captured EVP recordings capturing fragmented phrases like, "Turn the light on," and "I'm lost." Witnesses described seeing a shadowy figure pacing anxiously near the windows, clutching what appears to be a life preserver before vanishing without a trace. The basement of Heceta Head, once used for storage and laundry operations, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with cleaning the area often describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a server who swore he saw a young boy playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the boy may have been a victim of illness or accident during the home's early years, forever trapped in the confines of its lower levels. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, Heseta Head continues to draw visitors eager to immerse themselves in its storied past. For those brave enough to book a stay, the possibility of encountering Rue, the sailor, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its architectural splendor or the thrill of peeling back the layers of its enigmatic history, Heseta Head promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. Tillamook Rock Lighthouse. The ghosts of terrible Tilly perched precariously on a jagged rock formation off the northern Oregon coast. Tillamook Rock Lighthouse, affectionately nicknamed Terrible Tilly, stands as a monument to human perseverance and folly. Constructed between 1880 and 1881 at great cost and peril, the lighthouse operated for nearly a century, guiding mariners through some of the Pacific's most treacherous waters. Yet, its isolated location and brutal conditions rendered it a crucible of suffering, earning it a reputation as one of the most haunted sites in Oregon. To this day, the abandoned structure continues to beckon adventurers and paranormal enthusiasts alike, drawn by the promise of confronting its spectral inhabitants. One of the most infamous incidents tied to Tillamook Rock occurred during its construction, when a massive storm swept away the initial crew and equipment, claiming several lives. This tragedy set the tone for the decades that followed, as the lighthouse became synonymous with danger and despair. Keepers stationed at Terrible Tilly endured relentless waves crashing against the rock, isolating them from the mainland for weeks at a time. Many reported feelings of overwhelming dread, compounded by the constant threat of storms and structural instability. Today, visitors approaching the lighthouse by boat swear they can hear the faint cries of the doomed workers, carried by the wind across the water. Among the spirits said to haunt Tillamook Rock is Captain John Trewavas, the man responsible for overseeing its construction. Historical accounts suggest that Trewavas fell to his death while inspecting the site, crushed beneath a falling boulder. His ghost is believed to linger in the lantern room, where he obsessively tends to the light, ensuring it never goes out. Paranormal investigators exploring the site have captured EVP recordings featuring fragmented commands like, "Keep the light burning," and "Don't let it die." Witnesses described seeing a shadowy figure silhouetted against the glass panes, his movements jerky and unnatural, before dissolving into mist. Another haunting presence associated with Terrible Tilly is believed to be that of a former keeper's wife, who allegedly went mad from the isolation and took her own life. Her spirit is said to wander the keeper's quarters, manifesting as a cold breeze accompanied by the scent of lavender. Guests visiting the lighthouse report hearing faint humming and the sound of footsteps pacing restlessly in empty rooms. Some claim to see a woman in a tattered dress gazing mournfully out of broken windows, her expression frozen in eternal anguish. The lighthouse's decrepit interior has become a hot spot for paranormal activity, particularly in the lower levels where supplies were stored and repairs conducted. Employees tasked with documenting the site describe hearing chains rattling and heavy footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Tools are known to move inexplicably, as if being manipulated by unseen hands. A particularly chilling account involves a photographer who swore he felt icy fingers brush against his neck while descending into the basement, only to turn and find nothing but shadows. Tillamook Rock's reputation as a haunted site extends beyond its physical boundaries. Since its decommissioning in 1957, the lighthouse has served briefly as a columbarium, housing the ashes of the deceased. Though its use as a final resting place was short-lived, many believe the spirits of those interred within its walls remain trapped, unable to find peace. Visitors recount seeing translucent figures drifting aimlessly across the barren rock, their faces obscured by darkness. Others describe hearing disembodied voices calling out names unfamiliar to modern ears, believed to be the voices of souls seeking release. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, Tillamook Rock continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the sacrifices made in pursuit of safety and survival. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Tillamook Rock offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. Patterns across Oregon's haunted lighthouses, themes of isolation and losses. We traverse the haunted landscapes of Oregon, from the windswept cliffs of Cape Blanco to the storm-lashed rocks of Tillamook Head. Striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the shadowed basements of monuments, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why haunted lighthouses captivate us? What is it about haunted lighthouses that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or where justice was denied, leaving wounds that refuse to heal. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. At the core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted places exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Architecturally, haunted places contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, sterile hallways lined with identical doors create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Every corner becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. This environmental manipulation taps into our instinctual fight-or-flight response, keeping us perpetually on edge. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted places. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum, courthouse, or battlefield as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted places become microcosms of larger fears, the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted places appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted places attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted places lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged, shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through Oregon's most haunted lighthouses to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of Oregon's haunted lighthouses yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, But isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting,